What's up, gel ballers? Today I have another John Wick replica to show you. This one is the TTI John Wick 2 Ultralight Rifle, or TR1 as it used to be called. And just like the pistol I showed you the other week, it's made by Double Bell. It's an AEG or auto electric gun. And it was kindly sent to me for review by iHobby, a retailer based here in Australia. Check them out at the links down below. Now, initially I thought I'd begin with an easy peel ASMR shot of removing all the copyright tape covering the nice laser etched logos. But the tape proved more challenging than expected. So back at home, I used some orange oil to make the process much easier. With that taken care of, taking a look at the entire blaster overall, it's actually a pretty nice replica of the one from the movie. Compared to the pistol I reviewed the other week, the logos are actually embedded into the metal, which is nice. There are still some things they got wrong though, which if you know, you know. Starting at the tip, the flash hider is one of iHobby's really nice hop-ups. It doesn't really match the flash hider of the real thing though. I would personally keep it though for the increase in range and accuracy. You can adjust the top and bottom tongues with their corresponding grub screws to add varying amounts of backspin to your gel balls. The device itself screws onto the outer barrel with a 14mm counterclockwise thread, so if you did want to put a more movie accurate flash hider on, you could easily do so. With the flash hider / hop-up removed, the inner barrel of this blaster has a 7.5mm internal diameter. Some of you will say that's a bit loose, but it does mean that it will fire pretty much any gel ball just fine. Moving back from there, it has a key mod handguard and a vertical grip just like the real thing. The Picatinny rails on either side can be repositioned to wherever you like, but if you want to match the movie prop, you should remove the rail from the left side entirely and move the rail on the right side back a little bit. One thing missing entirely though is a quick detach sling mount, which should be on the left side of the handguard above where the pick rail was. Also up top, for some reason Double Bell have added a front and rear flip-up iron sight. These are a bit useless when you have a large optic on here getting in the way. The real thing doesn't actually have iron sights and instead has a 45-degree angled red dot sight. So if you want to be movie accurate, I'd take the iron sights off and put on a 45-degree angled red dot sight. Also, the scope itself doesn't quite match the look of a real Trijicon TR25. Instead, Double Bell have provided a fairly generic 1 to 4 times low power variable optic, but it can be adjusted with a throw lever. A cool feature of this budget LPVO though is that it does have an illuminated reticle. It can either be red, green, or off entirely with varying levels of brightness in between. Moving down from there to the receiver, this blaster does a great job with the logos and markings, unlike the pistol I looked at a couple of weeks ago. Pulling back on the charging handle, there's no mag prime, but the bolt does lock back and it has a functioning bolt release to send it back forwards again. I'm guessing this is a carryover from the airsoft version, where this would allow easy access to adjusting the hop-up which is inside the receiver on an airsoft version. The magazine is a bit of an odd choice. The real one has a side window and a TTI brand base plate. This is probably the one thing about the blaster that you couldn't easily replicate for yourself, and Double Bell have dropped the ball on this one. The best I can do is use an SLR mag from a Jingji SLR, and that kind of matches the original, but it still lacks the TTI base plate. Maybe you could 3D print something, I'm not too sure. The grip and the buttstock are also slightly different to their movie counterparts, but they're close enough that I think most people would never notice. And the entire blaster overall, if you swap out the iron sights for a 45-degree red dot, swap out the mag, it's a very nice replica and it does a much better job than the pistol I reviewed the other week. But how does it perform? Let's remove the buttstock and connect an 11.1 volt mini Tamiya battery, then load up the magazine with some gel balls, insert it into the magwell, and we're ready for some testing. The gel balls I'm using today were kindly provided to me by the Battle for Waterloo Skirmish Field shop. If you live in South Australia, come out for a game and have a look at their stock while you're here. They've got everything you need for a fun day of gel ball, gas, gels, CO2, and even do HPA refills. Support your local fields because without them we have no legal reason to even own a gel blaster. First, let's see how it shoots over the chronograph, and I've got it set to semi-auto. .372, 326, 329, 357, 359,
342, 334, 327, 347, 332, 310, and 335.
Over the chronograph, I got a high of 372, low of 310, average of 339, and a standard deviation of 17. While it's not the most consistent in velocity, an average of 339 is pretty impressive for a stock AEG gel blaster. Now let's check out the full auto rate of fire. On full auto, it's shooting 956 rounds per minute or 16 rounds per second. Yeah, pretty standard for a stock gel blaster. This blaster has full metal V2 internals, but only an 18:1 gear ratio. So you could definitely upgrade the rate of fire if you wanted to by either swapping out the gears or upgrading to a faster motor. Finally, let's see how precisely it shoots firing from a distance of 30 meters away at a 1 meter diameter round target. Off camera, I've adjusted the hop up until the gels travel nice and flat all the way to the target. At a distance of 30 meters, precision is pretty typical of a gel blaster. Most shots landed within about a 1 meter spread, with some flyers right and left of the target. I'd call this pretty much on par with most other gel blasters. But after using the double barrel replica of the John Wick rifle, what do I think of it? Well, from a look and feel perspective, it does a decent job. It's full metal and the logos are actually engraved into it. The main letdowns for me are the scope and the magazine from a looks perspective, though I'm sure you could find a replica of the scope somewhere, and the magazines you could probably make something yourself. Accuracy was pretty standard for a gel blaster with the included hop-up, though average velocity was pretty impressive at 339 feet per second. It may actually be too hot to use at some skirmish fields, so check the rules at your local club. Overall, if you're a fan of John Wick and want something a little more practical than a pistol to use, I think this rifle is a good option for you, if you don't mind paying the higher price of a movie replica. Check it out at the link down below. That's all I have for you today. Consider leaving a like and subscribing, and here's 2 other videos you might enjoy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.